Aquaman number 9, written by Jeff Johns, art by Ivan Reyes. Last issue we left off with Mara wanting some answers from Dr. Shin. We get Aquaman attacked by some hired guns of Black Manta in I think it's the Amazon forest or some sort of forest, and Black Manta attacking someone at the United States Army Health Center. All three of these plots continue. So we pick up Black Manta uses one of the tool idle things to break into the building, where we see a man making phone calls to people. It's unclear as to who it is, but regardless, they're not taking his calls. I think it's to the families of people that were in his squad or platoon or whatever. And as he's trying to make another call, Black Manta comes in and starts trying to strangle him. And apparently this guy just wants to die. He's in a very bad place, and Black Manta's like, I'll let you be free. But then he says, fall in, and all the spirits of his fallen comrades, give him strength, visually and actually. And so then he reaches for a thing under his bed, puts on these golden manacles, or at least one of them. But then Black Manta shoots him with some harpoons, and is like, you're the prisoner of war, and those manacles are mine. And he's like, try to take them. So then he pulls out a gun from underneath his pillow, only has one shot in it. He takes the shot at Black Manta, manages to get it pretty tight in there, pulls the harpoon out of his chest, and Black Manta's like, you had a gun under your pillow with one bullet in it. Why are you even fighting me? And he's like, well, you can't have these. And he jumps out the window along with his spirit soldiers, and Black Manta's like, all right, whatever, I'll chase you down. And throughout the course of the issue, we just cut to them running through the city and fighting and being chased. So just know that happens. Then meanwhile, I'm going to skip ahead to the Mara part of the story, where Mara is threatening Dr. Shin, and she's like, all right, tell me everything you know about Black Manta. And he's like, I swear I haven't spoken to man. He's like, you just talked to him in the past? And he's like, okay, here's my history with Aquaman. So apparently, way back in the day, he was deep diving, but there was a storm and his boat sank, and then Tom Curry, aka Arthur Curry's dad, rescued him from the sea. And then years later, Tom Curry showed up with Arthur saying hey, this is my son. He has some superpowers, and I'd like your help to get him through it. And so he helped show him that his powers can be controlled and how to love his powers and come to terms with it. But once he got the story of who Arthur truly was, aka the offspring of Tom Curry and the Queen of Atlantis, he got a couple of dollar signs in his eyes, and we're like, okay, maybe we can make him the scientific find of the century. And the father immediately went off on him, broke into his office, stole every bit of info that was in Steven's office about Aquaman at all. And then he's like, I spend years of my life helping them, and I should have gotten something for it, anything for it. So he tried to go out and just announce Atlanteans are real without any evidence to back it up. And of course he came off as crazy, so he was completely discredited, and not only did he lose his job, his credibility, but he also lost his friends in the form of the Currys, because they were friends for a while there. I'm going to skip the last part of that story real quick, go back to the Aquaman story. So they're fighting off these people in the jungle, and it's just a general all-out brawl, but of course superheroes don't kill. However, whatever her name is, Jaguar, is shot by one of the gunmen, and she doesn't take too kindly to that, so she shoves she takes her swords and cuts the guy's head off, then turns to a different one and uses her telepathic abilities that I guess she has to summon two jaguars from the jungle to kill this guy. And immediately Aquaman's like, no, we don't do that, we don't kill people. And she's like, what do you mean we don't kill? You do that, you used to do that all the time. I don't like how you're being changed here. And she's like, all right, whatever. Here's the thing. I've already sent my Justice League communicator. I'm getting the others back together. Apparently, one of the guys, because of his thing, he doesn't have to breathe or sleep. So he's up on the moon, and he'll be back here in an hour, 8 or 9 hours. And then the operative is another one, and he'll just show up at some point, I guess. And the prisoner, still being in the hospital, they got to go find him next. However, we all know that prisoner was being attacked by Black Manta. So anyway, end of the Stephen Shin story, it is revealed that in order to get back Aquaman, in order to get back some of his proof, he wanted Aquaman's blood. So he hired this guy that he heard he was great out on the seas, and he was able to defend his entire ship from like this huge thing of pirates all by himself. And of course that was Black Manta. And so Black Manta attacked Arthur. Tom tried to jump in to save his son, and as such had a heart attack. 3 days later, mind you, he died. He didn't die at the time of. But Aquaman, in a fit of rage, then went over to Black Manta and killed his father. So that's where the last page leaves off, with Aquaman finally coming to the place where a prisoner of war was being attacked, and Aquaman standing in Black Manta's way, in the rain, of course, all dramatic like, with it being revealed that he killed Black Manta's father. Now, I already knew that about Aquaman's history. I don't know how steeped in lore that is. I don't know if Jeff Johns just made this up and I just happen to be familiar with it after that, or if this is something that's always been true. But I like it. It's a really good plot beat of here's a hero who did an awful thing and made his villain. Not a thing that like could be described as bad. This is just all around an awful thing that he did out of just rage and not thinking and revenge, and I like that. It's solid character building to give a character that big of a flaw that then he's trying to overcome, and it really sets Black Manta's path as well. It's great all around. So yeah, art-wise, Ivan Reis is fantastic the whole way through. My only complaint would be I wish that we got a little bit more explanation as to what the others' actual powers are, because I'm still like, as soon as she called up the telepathic jaguars, I was like, oh, that's what you can do? Okay, I was surprised by it. And then Prisoner of War, I have no idea what his powers are. I know nothing about him so far. So maybe we'll learn more over time, but it's giving me enough to work with. I just want that little bit extra of like actually knowing what we're dealing with, so it doesn't just seem like 3 issues from now, all of a sudden we're just gonna be like, oh yes, and also he can detonate himself. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, I guess, sure. Overall, I'm going to give this one an 8.5. I almost want to say that's contingent on the fact of if this is the first time that Aquaman has been revealed to kill Black Manta's dad. But I'm just going to give it the 8.5 in general because, at least to a new reader jumping in, it would be. And that would be a great reveal for that. So 8.5, loving Aquaman still, and we will see what happens with the others in the next issue.